Hi, friends. How are you today?
Welcome, guys, to the Bailey Banter. I'm Natalie, and I'm here with Josie.
Hi there.
You love true crime.
It's problematic, but yeah, it's definitely my comfort thing.
Yeah, I'm just getting vibes of true crime with your backdrop. I'm just saying, all right.
Yeah, aside from Bailey, Joe Kenda is my favorite. And it's
Who is that?
Joe Kenda's he works out of Colorado, well,
Right.
used to, and he solved like I want to say over 300 crimes. It could be five, I might be wrong, but he does a show where he talks about all that. He's very cut dry. So like you'll see him literally, I'm gonna try to like, well, aren't we a 10-pound bag of stupid in a 20-pound hat?
Okay, well, before we get into the story that we're going to cover today, or just touch on Bailey, one of Bailey's last videos. Was it her last video? Not her last one, the one before that we're doing, right?
Oh, I did the last video, and
Okay.
the name of that bad boy was they couldn't hear them scream, if I remember correctly.
Before we get into that, we have some announcements to make. So we do have a April winner, and that person is
Hello, Suspish. We have
congratulations.
Yay!
Remember to DM me for your prize, okay, after you watch this, and we'll send that out to you. So see, we also have top 5 contributors for April.
Yes, and our top 5 contributors are
thank you guys so much for participating. We love all the participation. We just love seeing you guys just like be comfortable. It's a safe place. We love each other. And we have some really cool challenges coming up.
Yes, good. I have a tiny little box. I mean, tiny little box of like 750 in each one, rhinestones of different sizes. So I got to use them somehow.
Is going to be about Bailey's case that she released regarding, her name is Christine Falling.
I believe it was falling.
Falling.
Like falling off the stairs or something. Okay.
Yes. Oh my God, there's a picture of her today too. Wow. All right, she's 61. All right,
You should totally put that in here. I want to see what she looks like.
Okay, I watched it. I had it on while I was cooking in the background, and I kept on looking at the TV like, what did she just say? Like, what just happened?
Mm-hmm.
I think probably the first shocking thing in that story was when I found out how young she was when she got married.
Yes, that was one of them. I have several. Hold on.
Oh, okay. You have a list.
So, yes, that was one of the first things that was a huge, just wow for me, was the age that she got married. But also, do you recall the age that her father and mother were?
No.
By any chance?
No.
That was another thing. That one was really fun. Ann Slaughter was mom. Right. And she was a whole whopping 16 years old. So not too crazy out of the norm of teen pregnancy. Yeah. However, Thomas Slaughter, dad, was 65. Yeah. And like you said, I do love true crime. So I'm telling you, the average that I hear when I'm looking into cults, because I'm super obsessed. Love them. Yeah. But I mean, love learning about them. You find that you'll see like these 14, 15, 16-year-old girls, these girls that really just don't have the opportunity to get knowledge outside in the world.
Yeah.
They're getting married to men that are a lot older, similar in this case. But these men are in their 30s, maybe early 40s. The really extreme cases, that's when you see these. And those are also the cases that you see the most abuse, the most toxicity, just the most wild things.
So much.
That also proves true in this case too. She was the second of 4 children, and Thomas only claimed one of those children, being the 4th out of those 4, Earl.
Wow, just a
deeper. Wait for it. Wait for it. Buckle in, friends.
All right.
The home was full of poverty and neglect, and when mom wasn't missing, because mom would go missing all the time, that was a thing that Bailey made sure to tell us.
Yeah.
That Thomas and Anna were fighting, so causing an even more toxic environment than we already had, with dad not claiming children as his.
Oh my God, he sounds like a wonderful man.
Oh, he's a catch and a half.
Oh,
how are the ladies not swooning? And it only gets worse from here.
All right, here we go with this one, because I was like, how did this go on for so long and nobody said anything? And I'm always surprised, and it's like, why am I still surprised? But I'm always still surprised.
At 4 years old, Christine and her sister Carol were adopted out.
Okay.
So they went from being the Slaughter children to the Falling children. Let's talk about the irony in both of these last names.
I was just gonna say those are really unfortunate.
Exactly. Bailey caught the first one, Slaughter. Yeah, that's super unfortunate.
Slaughter. Later should be Falling. But her last name was Slaughter. Already not off to a great start, okay?
Yeah.
But what's even more unfortunate is Falling.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll circle back to that little thing here in a second.
Some foreshadowing going on there.
So, they were adopted by the Falling family, and they were super religious and unfortunately super abusive.
Yeah.
So both children had allegations of Jesse Falling being sexually and physically abusive. And sadly, Carol, older sister, had made the claims to authorities a couple times, 2 times it said, and nothing came from it.
No one is
really.
Poor victim advocacy right there.
Wasn't there.
But when a religious leader finally spoke out about Carol and Christine, they were moved to Great Oaks, which was a home specifically for children that were in this sort of a situation, abuse, neglect, foster children, that kind of thing. They were there for about a year is what it's looking like, which was kind of sad because Christine loved it there. She said she absolutely adored it. It was some of the best times that she'd ever had. However, the staff did not agree. They far from agreed. They called her horrific. They called her violent. They talked about, at one point, Bailey talked about them mentioning her having killed small animals and tortured them. We do see a lot of animal abuse with people who are dealing with either psychopathy, sociopathy, something along those lines.
Right.
And then, they did go on to document that she'd only had a 6th grade education. So there's number one.
Mm-hmm.
Epilepsy. That's a huge, I don't know if you know anything about that.
Wow.
My biological mother has it, and it is, oh, woof. Like she had a surgery that rectified a lot of it, but
Yeah.
the damage done up until that surgery, very apparent. It was considered developmentally delayed by the school. So yeah, that didn't help things. And a year later, they were returned to the Falling home. And in October of 75, Jean was beaten so badly that there were bruises all over her body. She was forced to wear shorts showing her mark. It obviously humiliates her. And then at this point, Carol and Christine ran away. I get it. So Christine moves in with Anna, her mother, in a small town. And at 14, following mom's footsteps, she marries a 20-plus-year-old man. I know he was way more than 20. I just can't remember if it was 24, 26, something like that. Yeah. And it was toxic and abusive from go.
I bet.
They perpetuated the sins of their parents and added their own. Definitely, because instead of just being abusive, she turns it around, which we really rarely find females being abusive. But this marriage was actually dissolved after about 6 weeks when she threw a 25-pound music device at this dude's noggin. So, it does make sense that, being below the poverty line, less education, less access to medical care.
Yeah.
If the epilepsy was even being treated, it wasn't being treated in a way that was going to help her regulate her rage.
Oh, it's just terrible. I feel bad for her so far.
Yeah.
So far, right now, I feel bad for her.
Yeah, I mean, it is a pretty tragic case, and then this is where things kind of get less sad and more intriguing.
Yeah.
Because after this marriage fades into the background, Christine begins to show signs of hypochondria.
Oh, okay.
They say hypochondria here, but at the end of the video, Bailey makes a good point. She points out that doctors think it may be Munchausen. Due to the fact that all the abuse, the husband leaving, she's not able to sustain a marriage. She's not able to sustain a lot of these relationships in her life. She needs attention from the medical staff to help her feel better.
Bingo.
She was going in reporting from her menstrual cycle that she was dying. She would have her menstrual cycle and be like, I'm dying.
Yeah.
One thing. And then she claimed that she had snake bites all over her body. The doctors could see nothing. And then the last example that I wrote down, because it was pretty big, was hallucinations. And she was saying she was having hallucinations. So, that's where the question is raised. I've noticed a lot of people that have the hallucinations are like, no, this is real. And it's the medical professionals that are going, no, they were hallucinating. They are going to tell you they saw the pink popcorn.
Right.
But, she's only 17 at this point.
Oh my God. Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I have a feeling I'm not going to feel bad for her much longer, though.
No,
Okay.
because this is 1980. This is where it all starts. Jean's horror story, because it starts in 1980, ends in 1982. This is a 2-year span. Oh, and it gets gross. So,
okay.
I'll try to do this with without getting too hyped up, because oh my goodness. In February 1980, poor Cassidy, 2 years old, she, according to Christine, fell out of a crib and passed out.
Okay.
Falling allowed young Cassidy
to fall. Got that connection, the last name. Yep.
And then she was examined after she died, and it was determined that it was blunt force trauma. There was no investigation. The coroner did not believe I believe it was this case this instance that she was not believed, and the authorities were notified. But the police did nothing. Nothing was done. Now, are we buckled in? Because it's the same month of 1980. Same month. She's the neighborhood babysitter. So,
oh my God.
Little Jeffrey, 4-year-old Jeffrey, is in her care. And just stops breathing. He just stopped breathing and died. The investigators did note a disease, but the issue with that disease is that it's very, very rarely fatal.
Right.
Little cousin of Jeffrey, Joseph, who is 2 years old, is now put in her care again. And wow, funny story, he just stops breathing and they can't ever wake him up. So the doctors are checking it out. They find out that later on, they believe that a virus killed Jeffrey and his cousin Joseph, but no investigation is done still. Then a month later, so we're within a month and like 3 weeks, we'll say. That's a good estimation as a good way to put it.
Oh boy.
She's gotten 3 down. So we're 1 month later from Joseph. Our little 3-year-old Kyle falls ill with meningitis. But hallelujah, this little boy recovers.
Okay.
So we do not lose Kyle. Thank heaven. Remember how I said this was a 2-year story?
Yeah.
Well, she gets a year cooling off period.
Yeah.
A whole year to cool off. Now, in 1981, our lovely Christine is watching 3-year-old Charles and brother, who is 14 months old, Jeffrey. This one is a fall ill and they recover. Yay! But why are people not stopping care? Like, listen,
it's bad.
A baby falls out of a crib, I'm done. But let's continue putting kids in her care. Gosh, the 80s.
The 80s.
Anyway, so after Charles and Jeffrey, I personally think Christine was a little smarter than she played. And she probably felt like trail's getting a little hot here. We should get out of here. Either way, she relocates to Perry, Florida. She's already in Florida. This whole thing takes place in Florida. But she becomes a caregiver and I believe a housekeeper, but I could be wrong on that part. She is definitely a caretaker for the elderly. She starts her new job and she gets to work with this lovely old man named William Swindle. Poor William had to run across her because day one he comes up. They said based on his age, they believed that it was a heart attack, and so no autopsy, no investigation.
This is dark.
This is super dark because in this same month, oh my God, it gets worse. I'm sorry, everybody. Trigger warning, please. Pause, skip, do what you need to do because in this same month, she is left with her 8-month-old niece, Jennifer, in a car. Her half-sister goes into the store. When she returns, this baby is dead.
So much.
Oh my God.
At this moment, you brought up SIDS. It is reported that SIDS and a reaction to the vaccines that an 8-month-old would get.
Right.
So
nobody noticed her. Nobody noticed.
Anything. Nobody knows anything at this point.
Wow.
In a car, broad daylight, from what I'm understanding, at least what I'm seeing in my brain. She didn't say what time of day it was.
She's getting bold. She was getting bold.
She's getting very bold, and she's getting sicker. This is her blood. This isn't just somebody she's babysitting, a neighborhood kid. No, this is closer to home.
Her family. Her blood. And she didn't have any kids herself.
Mm-mm.
So these are like family members that she's killing off. Okay. Oh.
Yeah. Now she has, here's where it gets gross again. All right, we keep getting into these gross stories, parts of the story. She gets another year cooler.
Really?
Yeah, another whole year of a cooler. So our death count now is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The last couple parts of our story. And it ends with little Travis, who is 10 weeks old. And this happens in June of 1982. Travis is rushed to the hospital with sudden respiratory issues. Thankfully, he recovers, but the injuries do require about a month in the hospital to recover.
Right.
So he's in the hospital for that whole month. And then on July 4th of 1982, Travis is left with Christine again. And this time, he dies. The cause was concluded. Finally, we're in the right ballpark to be suffocation.
Oh, no.
So this is the end of our timeline. Now, the coroner didn't really see the pattern at the time, but lucky for news and reporters, because a local newspaper goes ahead and interviews her, and then they get documented. Of course, in this document they say she's been through 5 youngins so far, and that was the quote: "Been through 5 youngins."
That's gross. Yeah, that's not sensitive at all. That's really insensitive.
Exactly. And that was enough to scare her. That's the paraphrasing of the end. And that was enough to scare her, which brings a high alert to the police, in addition to the fact that in this article, she admits mental health issues.
Okay.
Am I saying we go after them all? No. What I am saying is betwixt all this, red flags.
Yeah.
And so when she is questioned, she is then admitted to a mental facility. She further admits to 3 deaths, but her sister Carol reports that Christine has admitted 5 deaths to her. Can I point out how many people she killed?
Wait a minute.
Do you think she told her about her niece?
No. Oh.
Because Travis, I don't know.
Oh my God.
I like to think that she did the right thing and was just like, it doesn't matter who she knew about, but knowing people, that probably was the factor.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. This is a new case, so I know people are living still, and I'm not trying to put anybody on trial, but it just kind of, why wouldn't you go immediately?
Right.
Final on the record plea that she makes.
Okay, what does she do?
That's the one that she admits to the deaths of Jeffrey, and she admits to the deaths of everyone in exchange for Jeffrey and Joseph not being charged to her.
Because she thinks that's going to look bad on her because it's family members. I mean, you're charged with murder.
It is a little heartless considering the fact that she had murdered his cousin, and then when the baby cousin was there so mom and dad could go to the funeral and mourn said cousin, she murdered him. Like, I could see how in a jury trial that's gonna really cause a stir.
Yeah.
But I don't, that's, she doesn't have those charges, so that's the end of our story. Thank goodness in December 1982 she pleads out. She is sentenced to life in prison.
Yeah.
And so I went ahead, because this is a lot of victims. This is a lot to handle. And she does say on the record later why she did what she did for almost all the victims.
Okay.
So I have these quotes. Cassidy, she was an infant, and it was quoted that it was because she was rowdy. Jeffrey, infant, it was quoted that he made her mad or something. Exact words.
Wow.
All of these are exact words for the most part. So
yeah.
Then we've got Joseph, who is another infant, and she said, "I just got the urge and wanted to."
Wow. She's a cold-blooded killer. Holy crap.
There was the elderly man, William. She didn't so much say why she did it, but she did say she squeezed the life out of him.
Oh my God. All right. That's
Her niece apparently would not stop crying. This was the reason. And then lastly, Travis, she said no apparently. She said no apparent reason.
Wow.
For 10-week-old Travis.
That is a horrible human being. Like, that is a disgusting. She deserves to rot in hell.
She was denied parole in 2017. She's eligible again this year, people.
Hell no. I hope she did. I hope she rots in. She deserves to rot in prison.
Well, nobody showed up for her last time in terms of like the parole backing. So it's kind of looking like that's probably going to be the same.
Good. I'm
She is gonna
shocked
be
she
a-
didn't get the death penalty.
I think that's probably why she pled out the way she did.
Ah, okay.
Because a lot of the times they don't give a death penalty if you plead,
Right.
at least in my trend. So anyway, that being said, she is incarcerated in the prison in Ocala.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and then she's always going to the doctors at this point for mystery,
Yeah.
non-visible diseases and illnesses. And the doctors do not, let me be clear, do not support her claims of hearing voices.
There you go.
They are saying,
And it's
yeah.
in Florida.
Well, and here's the thing. There was a woman, and I don't remember exactly who it was, but that was just like, oh, I think she's just having bad luck.
Oh,
So it's like,
there's stupid people out there, you know that.
right? But how does that play into Munchausen? It's like, oh, this lady thinks that, oh, poor me. Is that how I get the sympathy that I'm looking for?
Yeah.
Like, it just it's so much to wonder about. But I guess according to Bailey, they don't have a lot of info on Munchausen's, just due to the fact that there's a lot of dishonesty that goes with it.
Right. There's no way of really, I mean, you're basically interviewing somebody and assessing their situation on a daily basis, and you're following up, trying to see a pattern. But especially in Florida, so I consider myself a Floridian now with the New York accent, but stuff, especially in the 70s and 80s, I'll be honest with you, I guarantee you there are more people that have been buried or missing that went to the wildlife. There's a lot of wildlife in Florida that, like right now, I send you videos, like you see the videos, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's mating season right now for alligators, and they are not, I mean, it's crazy how they just, no, they walk amongst us, like literally on my street. They'll just walk and go up to the door or whatever, looking for food. These animals can devour bodies.
As we talk about these like similarities, it brings to mind a recent episode of Evil Lives Here. I don't know if you guys watch that. I don't know if anybody watches that aside from like me and my family.
I have not seen it. Where is it? Where can I see it?
It is on Prime. There's, I believe we're on like season 9, but it's good. It is very, very good. It's talked about from the perspective of the victims. They talk about what this person was doing, how it affected their lives, this, that, and the other thing. They show pictures.
Really?
It's very, very, very good.
Oh, I gotta check that out. Okay.
Yeah, one of the most recent ones was about a man who was in a relationship with a woman. He attempted to murder her and was unsuccessful, obviously. But he said that he was crazy at the time. Mm-hmm. But throughout the marriage and relationship with this person, he kept talking about wanting to kill people, and then would perpetuate some sort of an abusive, toxic, or an illegal behavior.
Right.
And then go, oh, I was just crazy. In the moment. And then if you look at the mugshot, you see him acting crazy. And the victim straight out says, that's him acting crazy. He's not really crazy. He knows 100% what he's doing. He's pure, evil, cold-blooded killer. That's it. Point blank period.
Yeah.
And
psychopaths are usually very freaking smart.
Yeah. And you say that, and instantly I kind of go, even from social cues, a 6th grade child could definitely pick up on crazy to get out of trouble.
That's true. See, children know when they meet somebody that there's something wrong. Their gut instinct is so like innate and raw to them, where if somebody walks up to them and they just like, oh, like you kind of have to, they have to trust that.
Basic societal behaviors are ingrained in us.
Yeah.
So like, for example, like I smile at you while we're walking down the road, you instantly smile back. You don't mean to. Right. It's involuntary. So that's the same thing that you're talking about there. Our children and animals rely on that very heavily in order to survive. So when they come up against a sociopath, their brain reads the cues and instantly does the reaction, instantly says, oh, this is bad, get away.
Right.
to protect them.
Right.
So it's not even like the universe isn't doing anything. It is literally like the millions of years of evolution, and
Thank God.
sadly, people being this sick and messed up has translated so that our brains instantly go, ew, something's wrong here. This doesn't feel right.
Right. Yeah. A cat, right? Who's been meowing this whole time in the room. And his name is Teddy. Have you met Teddy before? You've seen Teddy, right? And it's short for Ted Bundy, because I honestly think he's a little serial killer. He knows I'm talking about him. Sorry. The amount of dead bodies, when I say dead bodies, I mean like
birds and mice and stuff.
Salamanders, anything. The cat is constantly killing. I'm like, this is terrible. Like,
things to say about that.
What?
Salamanders.
I know.
Salamander friends.
I know.
Also, no offense, your cat thinks you are a really bad provider.
He does, doesn't he? He's trying to bring. I had company over like a month ago, and he brought a dead salamander into the kitchen, right in the middle of where everybody was walking. Like, here, I brought something for dinner. I brought appetizer, so it's for dinner. You know what they say about domesticated cats? They're like, if the cats were just maybe if a domesticated cat was like 50 pounds, not the size that they were, we would be on their hit list. Like, they are deadly predators. Ted Bundy. I'll put a picture of him right here.
I don't know how gruesome of cases you've gotten into. I was looking into the Tiger King stuff during quarantine. Yeah.
Girl.
And they would talk about people being found in apartments, homes, cages, etc.
Yeah.
I remember reading over one article that said, not the lions, not the wild animals, the domesticated cats had been gnawing on XYZ of said and I'm like,
yeah, they're killers.
I was like, I will never own a cat. At least my dog would be like, I'm sorry.
I know.
My bad. I'm dying.
Josie, thank you so much for that. I think I got more information from you. And now I'm going to go back and watch the Bailey, because I have not watched it completely. Yeah. But that was a crazy story. So
absolutely. Don't take us on any wild rides like this, people. Please and thank you.
Yes.
I don't want to talk about you guys.
No. Well, until next time.
Y'all are my girls. I don't want to talk about y'all yet. Come on.
Right. Don't be a murder mystery makeup. Don't do it.
Yeah. This is not a goal. We want you in the seat talking about it, not on the other end being talked about.
Right. Make good choices. All right. Well, we'll see you on the next Bailey Banter.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Until then, remember, participate.
Yes.
It's the only way to win.
Yes.
Watch the Bailey Banter, because we talk about amazing stuff here all the time.
Yes.
And get better idols, people.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you later.
All right. Bye.
Bye.